All right, so who is the best hire for the Oklahoma Sooners at offensive coordinator? Everybody has seen multiple coaching hot boards. You've heard the names, but today I want to break it down and tell you who the best two, I think, in my opinion, coordinator hires would be for Oklahoma. I'll tell you the one that I prefer, but I'll tell you the one that also could make a lot of sense if Brent Venables decides to go that direction. Before we dive into it, though, I really want to tell you guys how much I appreciate you guys tuning in every single day to watch these videos. I know I tell you guys all the time to hit the like and the subscribe, and thank you for tuning in. But no, you guys really don't know how much it means to me because it's because of you guys that I do this every single day and that I want to do this every single day because you guys continue to show up. You guys continue to do what you need to do. So thank you for that. But I want to talk about this offensive coordinator stuff. And hopefully this is the last video I have to make on this before we actually hire an offensive coordinator. But you're really starting to hear some things heat up. And really the hottest name right now has been Dan Mullen. Now, we've talked about Dan Mullen a lot on this channel. So we're going to talk about him towards the end because, quite honestly, he's the hire that I think Oklahoma needs to make because he's the splash hire. Now, you look at a hire that I think is intriguing for a lot of Oklahoma fans, and if you aren't aware of the name, you need to become aware of the name, and it's Ben Arbuckle, the offensive coordinator out there at Washington State. And you might be asking me, well, Washington State, is that a good program? Because they're the only one of the only two teams left in the Pac-12. Are they Power 4? Are they G5? I don't think that really matters. Because when you look at what Ben Arbuckle has been able to do in his college football career, it's only had one of the better offenses at Incarnate Ward, where he had Cam Ward as his quarterback. And everybody's kind of seen what Cam Ward has done at Miami this year. Then he goes to Washington State and gets a quarterback by the name of John Mateer, who this year has 2,707 passing yards, 63.2% completion percentage. Could be a little better, but that comes with time. 26 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. John Mateer is as a sophomore, one of the better quarterbacks in college football. And not only has he done that through the air, but he has 695 rushing yards as well. So he has a pretty balanced game in what he's been able to do for Washington State. And when you look at Oklahoma, if you get a guy like Ben Arbuckle to come here, you're likely getting his quarterback that is at Washington State as well. And I know a lot of you guys aren't like super big fans at this point of Jackson Arnold or Michael Hawkins. I think people are just, it's an either or, just they don't like both. John Mateer would be a good replacement for either one or both of those guys if you're able to pull him in with Ben Arbuckle. But to kind of look at what he's been able to do in college football this year, he is the number 9th ranked total offense in the entire country, averaging 461.6 yards per game, averaging 6.7 yards per play, and has 51 offensive touchdowns. Like, this is a guy that he's an up-and-coming star in college football, and any team that goes out there and grabs him as his offensive coordinator, I say any team, any big-time program that goes out there and grabs him as an offensive coordinator likely has him for 3 or 4 years, and you're looking at 3 or 4 years of really successful football, especially in the air raid. You look at what he's been able to do on the ground at Washington State. Tied for 42nd in terms of best rushing attack, only at 182.2 yards per game, averaging 4.82 yards per carry, 24 rushing touchdowns in his offense. Very good, I would say, like in terms of balancing out of that passing attack a little bit. Obviously, if he came to Oklahoma, he would have some really good weapons in the run game. You might want to see him take advantage of the run game a little bit more, understanding Ben Arbuckle's offense is going to be tailored more to the passing game. Then you look at what his passing attack is in the country. The number 19th passing attack in the country, coming in at 279.4 yards per game, averaging 8.98 yards an attempt. Like, you look at his offense led by John Mateer, this is one of the best offenses in the country. I know a lot of people would point to North Texas I'm not 100% sold on that offensive coordinator yet. I do want to see him a little bit better. I think Ben Arbuckle, we've seen him do it everywhere else. You've seen him develop Cam Ward. You're seeing him develop John Mateer. And so I think that would give you, as an Oklahoma fan, a little bit more confidence in what he's been able to do. But that would probably be the second name to Dan Mullen, right? If you're not able to get Dan Mullen, you'd probably want Ben Arbuckle. But Dan Mullen has got to be the number one hire at this point, because it sounds like Joe Craddock is probably going to end up at Florida State. Like, I think a lot of people forgot Oklahoma was not the only Power 5 or Power 4 team looking for an offensive coordinator. Obviously, Wisconsin's looking for one now, but they're not too big of a threat. Oklahoma can outbid them. Florida State is that other school that was going to cause Oklahoma problems. And Joe Craddock, he might fit Florida State a little bit better. And it seems like that might be where that relationship is trending a little bit. So although we might have looked at a couple weeks ago, Joe Craddock being the number one option for Oklahoma, Dan Mullen is a guy that he's coached in the SEC. You saw what he did at Florida with Tim Tebow, helping them win a national championship in that 2008 season. Oklahoma fans know that all too well. And then you look at what he did at Mississippi State, what he did as the head coach as Florida, really utilizing that spread offense to develop a guy like Dak Prescott, Alex Smith out at Utah. He was a guy that found and developed Anthony Richardson. He also was kind of helping lead the way with Kyle Pitts as well. So it's not that he didn't recruit talent. It's not that he didn't have the talent. I just think at his time at Florida as a head coach, he wasn't given the resources that he needed to go out there and win. And you see what he did at Mississippi State. He did a very good job at a program where not a lot of coaches do a good job, right? I think a lot of people forget Mississippi State is one of those programs that it's very hard to win. You're lucky to win anywhere between 6 to 9 games a year there and just get to a bowl game, right? I think Jeff Lebby, being his first head coaching job, great that you got in the SEC, but it's kind of a death sentence going to Mississippi State, because you've got to build that from the ground up, and you've got to be able to keep those players there and prevent them from transferring to other SEC schools. And Mississippi State's just one of those programs, especially with Oklahoma and Texas coming into the conference, that they're just going to end up taking even more of a step back than they already had. So you look at it, option number one's got to be Dan Mullen. Option number two has got to be John Mateer. Where does Oklahoma go for option 3 and 4 if they can't strike on plan 1 and plan B? I don't know yet, right? We'll have to talk about it in the Discord, look at some more names, but those are the two right now that I think Oklahoma is going to press hard for, that you could definitely see one of those two guys coming to be the offensive coordinator at Oklahoma. So I want to hear from y'all. Jump in the comments, join the discussion. Let me know in chat what you guys think about the offensive coordinator position. Hey, we'll see y'all next time.